1984.
Oh dear, 1984. Have you read the book?
Yeah, read it.
Who wrote it?
George Orwell. Well, I actually listened to it in an audiobook a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I read the book in the 70s.
Right. But do you know what prompted me to read it? Seeing what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and people kept saying Big Brother, Big Brother. I'm like, all right, well, so it did. And I'm like, wow.
The thing is, people think Big Brother now is the TV program.
I know.
Big Brother. You mentioned Big Brother now. The TV program. They don't realise that the Big Brother and the TV program came from the Big Brother from George Orwell's 1984. And the thing about George Orwell's 1984 is it's actually coming through now.
Yeah.
Which is the scary part.
Yeah. Infringements on people's rights, rewriting history.
Yeah.
The statues getting pulled down.
Yeah.
Tracking
people wherever they go. You can't go anywhere without being tracked or without being face identified.
Yeah. Well, they say as well, if you can control what people say, you can control what they think. And that's why I think there's a very hard push for political correctness in everything you say.
Yeah.
And that's quite scary because freedom of speech, the right to offend, Jordan Peterson said, is important. It's got to be important for me to offend you in conversation because you won't know what's actually deep rooted inside you and what you feel you want to fight for. So you've got to be offended to be able to fight for what you want and what you believe in. Otherwise, you'll live a neutral life.
I know, yeah. I mean, I've read 1984 a couple of times now.
Yeah.
So the way they broke the world down into like 5 big areas, or I think
3.
It's 5.
Is it 3?
3 big?
Yeah.
Eurasia.
It was Eurasia and Pacific something.
Yeah. And to me, that's basically what's going on with this Davos thing.
Yeah.
That they want to control the world, and it might be the Chinese area, there might be a European area, and America's area, Australia. I mean, everywhere in the world now seems to be falling under the George Orwell Big Brother.
I agree.
Agenda, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think if the people don't switch on to this very soon and realise that all our freedoms are going to be stopped very, very soon in the name of good and the name of being safe and secure.
Yeah. To me, it's just it really is scary. To the point where it can actually get depressing when you're thinking about the future now. I mean, I'm looking at the future now and I'm thinking George Orwell has just predicted the future, and it's happening the way he said it was going to happen.
Well, that's the problem with, I think, the far left movement. It is a communist movement. It's not a freedom movement. It's not about the people. It's about the elite fooling the people into being submissive.
And I can't stand I know we've gone over 3 minutes now, but I can't stand the way the media in 1984, the book, was saying one thing and it really wasn't happening, another thing was happening.
And then they corrected themselves and rewrote history to match up with what they actually said.
And that's exactly what's happening on the news today. You can't trust the media anymore, and that's why there's so many independent journalists out there now trying to show people what the truth is.
Yeah. Well, this is obviously the most depressing conversation we've had so far, but I think it's because it's probably given us the most concern out of everything.
Yeah.
So, hey, be good people.
And stay in balance if you can.